Forest Hills. I wanted to leave you with one more practice that has been helpful for me in just keeping that awareness of God's presence. You might have noticed in your social isolation things about your personality that maybe you have not been as aware of before. When we get to be alone for an extended period of time or with the same people for an extended period of time, we start to notice things that are easier to hide when we're on the go. When we're changing our social circles every day, going to work, going to church, we can sort of mask these unpleasant parts of ourselves. But when we start to be alone or with the same people repeatedly, those rougher edges of our personality, of our spiritual life start to come out. So this is an exercise that can help you grow through some of those weaker points, those areas of sin in your life, and also maintain a connection to God at the same time. It's called the daily examen. It's something that we talked about in contemporary worship a few weeks ago if you were there. But the idea of a daily examen is the idea of an old prayer that was developed quite a long time ago by a man named Ignatius of Loyola. He thought it was something that people would do on a retreat. You'd go on a retreat or a spiritual seminar and use this prayer every day to find God's will for your life. And it is helpful for that, but many people have taken it as an end of the day kind of prayer, an opportunity to look back on the day and just realize how present God was during the day. So it's a prayer that you can do anytime, but many people do it lying in bed at night before going to sleep. It can have different steps, but often people will do sort of three basic movements. The first one is just to become aware of God's presence. As you're lying in your bed or wherever you are, just be conscious that God is with you. It's a remarkable thing to just stop and realize that and sit with that. God is always with us all the time, but very often we're so busy or so distracted that we don't know it. We don't realize it, recognize it. So just take a minute in this first step to recognize that God is with you. God is holding you in that moment. God has held you through the entire day when you weren't even paying attention to it. And when you drift off to sleep in unconsciousness, God will still hold you and care for you. So take a moment to just sit with God in that space. Thank God, worship God for His presence with you. The second step is to review your day. So just go back to the moment you woke up. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever it might have been that you woke up. Start at that moment and just walk through your day hour by hour. Think about what you did, what you said, what you thought, and why you did it. Why you said it, why you thought it. You'll notice some areas that you did very well in, and you can often recognize those, especially in hindsight, as God's presence with you. You'll notice, I really did not want to be kind in that moment. I didn't want to be loving in that moment, but somehow I found it in me to reach out, to show love. I think that might have been God's grace in my life, God's leading in my life. So you can recognize those God moments through your day and see them in a new light and give thanks to God for those moments. But very often as you're reviewing your day, you will also notice times when you were not at your best, when you sinned or when you fell short in some way. And you can notice, why did I do that? Why did I act that way? Were there things that contributed to that? Maybe I ate too big of a lunch for lunch today. I felt super sleepy and super tired, just did not feel like dealing with anyone. And because of that, I was really short with my kids. I did not treat them with the respect that they deserved in the early afternoon. So you can notice those things that might have contributed to your shortcomings or to your sins. And think about ways that you could do them differently the next day. So that act of just reviewing your day is a really powerful experience of both connecting with God and recognizing where God was present, and then also, on the other hand, recognizing those ways that you fell short. And then the third and final step is just to pick one of those moments from your day and either give thanks for it or ask for strength to do better the next day. So it might be picking one of those moments when you can see now that God was present and just praising God for that, and thanking God for that, and asking for God's continued presence in your life the next day. Or it might be recognizing one of those areas that you fell short, confessing that, asking for forgiveness for that, and then asking for Christ's strength to help you to do better the next day. So give that a try, that daily examen, sometime this coming weekend. See if it isn't a powerful way of recognizing the truth that God is always present with you, whether you realize it or not.